Hello everyone and welcome back to the second video regarding the tragedy of the Krefelder Zoo in Germany. So today we are back in the build where I'm recreating the ape house from the zoo in Krefeld. For those of you who don't know and just click into this video, being new here or who haven't seen the first episode, a few days ago, actually on New Year's Day, on the 1st of January, there was a big drama going on in Germany because of one of these Chinese sky lanterns. The ape house burned down completely, and the fire basically killed 30 of the 32 apes that have been in this ape house at that time. Or actually it was less than 30 apes, but 30 animals in total. There were also some birds in there. And so I made this first video of the chimpanzee habitat, but I built this more or less from my from what I remember how it looked when I have been there the last time. But since it's been quite a few years, it wasn't that accurate. And at this point in time, I have to thank so many people, because I asked you guys in the comments, and I asked you in the video if there's anyone out there who is actually either working for the Krefelder Zoo or has been there lately or has some info about this, if they could send me some plans. And in fact, not even half an hour later, and this is always, it is so surprising to me, because that shows how much strength the community can have and how much greatness there is in in this online not only community, but in this online world, and people. It really restores belief in people and hope for a better world. I really do appreciate that. Like 30 minutes later, several people mailed me and wrote me, and they gave me basically plans of the actual ape house. There were some really detailed plans, and I'm more than happy that I can rebuild this now, nearly one by one. It's nearly is good. I have to fill in a lot of things that are not really in Planet Zoo at this point, so I have to let my imagination fill the gaps. But in terms of the overall layout, I think it comes really close to how the Krefelder Zoo ape house really was looking lately. And in today's episode, we are basically getting the whole layout done. We get all the animals in, not everyone, and the orangutans are not in quite at the end, but we could do so because I will have a little real-time part at the end to show you where I got with the process, because it's a bit hard to show. But you can see I made some colored lines down there, or just like a layout. It's getting back to the old Planet Coaster techniques of making the rebuilds, and these things also give you some kind of idea of measurements. But I couldn't go for the actual measurements because we do not have the billboards in the game, so I could have measured it with those 8-meter planks over here, which is from the simple art shapes. But I didn't want to restrain myself too much to it, because I wanted to also get it done in a considerably short amount of time, to make sure that it's not like 12 months after the tragedy uploaded. I really want to upload it as quick as possible, and I just have a limited amount of time at hand to do this, and I want to focus on really delivering a, let's say, input-output wise, very economical good one. So that means I have to make sure that at the first glance you really have the feeling, yes, that's the ape house I know, that's the one I've been to. And even if you go a bit closer, we have some details in there that really make you think of the ape house. But then again, in terms of measurements and stuff, I really adjusted it to the needs and to the likeliness of Planet Zoo. So I feel like it's a very good compromise that I've been working here. And there are a few things I wasn't so happy with, like the iteration I made last episode was, as I said, more or less to get something done on that day, to create some awareness and make people hopefully donate a little bit. I really wanted to make this also in, as I said, in a limited amount of time, that people are aware. And now, as I have a few more minutes at hand, so to say, I really want to make it as perfect as possible. I really hope that this is paying tribute enough, like what I can do. And I will definitely also try to make sure that I will also donate some money. To be honest, I would love to do it right off now, but I just can't. It's the 1st of January, it just passed by, and all the insurances and stuff wanted their money. So in fact, I cannot. I have to wait until my birthday next week, until there's a little bit of spare money left, and then I can donate it again. It's not that I don't have it, it's just time-wise there's a little shift in here. 1st of January is always a bad timing in terms of giving money, because there is none available, and I don't want to go even more into the depth at this point, because it will, in Germany, I don't know if it's everywhere in the world, but if you go temporarily into the depth, you can. There's a function of your bank account that allows you to, but the thing is, you pay some interest for the days you are in the depth, and it kind of works obviously with the amount of money you are in the depth. So yeah, I don't want to go even more into it. There was an amount of money that was already considered and was already planned to be in there, and my issue is also, until the day we have done the tax declaration, we cannot use any money from YouTube. It's not possible, because I first have to know how much I have to repay and if there's any money left, so which I really much doubt. But anyways, so yeah, I will definitely donate after my birthday, when there's a bit of money that I have again, and then I will definitely donate to the zoo as well. But also another topic I wanted to talk about, and I feel like this video is a good context to do so. I also wanted to talk about Australia at this point in time. I feel like, I don't know why, but I feel like the media coverage is, for whatever reason, not sufficient, and it's also not fair. I mean, yes, we have our funny American president doing some weird stuff again about the world's politics, and no one knows why, but far more important than that is, if you look to Australia, what's going on there. And I mean, talking in this video about a fire that lit the ape house, we have to talk about fires in general, and I also donated already for Australia. It is insane, like the fires going on there is absolutely ridiculous. I would wish that it's not as dramatic as reported, but it's even more dramatic when you really look into it. For example, I mean, we don't have koalas in Planet Zoo as of now. In fact, we don't have that many Australian animals in here anyways, which is a disaster, because I would have loved to do another little dedication video to that as well, but it's really hard to do without any animal that would be fitting in there. But yeah, the kangaroos and the koalas, their overall population has already declined by over 30%. That means some of the animals which have been in a good state are now moving towards being in a really crazy danger of getting extinct in the next couple of years if it continues that way. And it really feels totally hard now to talk about that, because the year 2019 was the worst year ever when it comes to animal population. The extinction rate was higher than in any other year before. It was nearly as bad as with the, at least that's what I heard. I haven't had time to check it, but it's getting in rates that have been with the dinosaurs. And I mean, that is just insane, because we have no meteoroid or asteroid just crashing onto our planet at this point in time. It's just us humans, kind of having touched the environment too much, so that we forced the world to heal itself, I should say. It's hard to believe that the climate change is natural. It's not. It's man-made. I think everyone who has arguably at least a little bit of intelligence left in their brains will understand that this is man-made, at least to a certain degree. And the leading scientists of this world, they don't talk anything wrong. But the fact is that the reaction of our planet is more or less to heal itself, and that's what we have to understand as well. It's not that the planet Earth will die out completely, it's the humanity and the animals that will die out, and then the planet will find a way to bring back life, however it will be. But we have to understand that this planet is greater than all of us are, and the nature is greater than any human can ever be. And it's such a tragedy to see what is happening right now out there in the world, and how people treating that, and how our politics are treating it. Even though talking about this, they don't do shit about it. I mean, I could talk hours and hours about what Germany just did with the with climate laws that are all just favoring the industry and not actually favoring the environment at all. Like it's forcing people more onto the roads, it's forcing people more to use planes, it's forcing people more to be very bad about environment, and it's forcing people actually to having less money to spend on a really good lifestyle in terms of being a bit more careful about what you buy, because in fact people will have less money in Germany as of now because they have to pay a lot more for climate change taxes, which is a new tax in Germany, for the exhaust and CO2 and stuff like that. Is it even a word anyways? But it's insane, and people will have less money because they have to pay for everything that the German government decided for, and that means they have less money to live, and in fact they cannot go for a kind of sustainable lifestyle, which people wanted to do in Germany for a while, but it's just way too expensive for most of the people not earning that much money, so I can definitely understand that. Anyways, back to the fires in Australia. So I know it's asked a lot, but if you guys or your parents or whoever you want to talk about, really talk about the topic, make sure that the people are aware of it. I don't want to ask you directly to donate, but at least make yourself or create some awareness of what's going on there. Just have a look into it. I mean, also the Australia government is not really acting at least clever at the moment, I guess. I think you can put it that way. They might have also, a lot of stress at this point in time and don't really know how to handle the situation, but it doesn't feel really right to, for example, see that they, despite people signing a petition for not doing the Christmas the New Year's Eve fireworks, still Sydney and the government decided to do it, despite actually people asking for not doing it, because not really because of the firework itself or the danger of the fireworks lighting fire. It was more about the fact that all the people working at this point in time to help getting these fires under control somehow, they also then need to work at midnight for the firework, and they still don't get any time to relax. They are completely done for weeks now, the firemen and stuff. They are done. Like seriously, if you will work in these conditions for weeks and weeks and weeks, and you cannot have any sort of break to relax, and then you even have to work for this freaking firework at New Year's Eve to whatever, it's not important at all when you see what's going on there. These are decisions that really make me go crazy. Like, I really do not understand how you can be that way. I mean, yes, at the end of the day, it is somehow, they want to present themselves, and what would be if Sydney, for example, had no firework, there's no marketing going on for them and stuff. It's all back to economy and, profit-oriented thinking and acting, and that is something we have to get rid of in our humanity if we want to survive. But I really much doubt that this will happen. I'm very sorry that I'm tackling these hard topics in the video, but I feel like it is important. If you're not interested in that, you can mute me or whatever. But at some points I think it is important to leave our happy little bubble, which I will try to maintain as much as possible. But at some point I really think we have to lose it and let go for a moment to make sure that people are aware of it. Because I feel like at this point in time, with that many people watching my videos, I most certainly also have to talk about that, because I do have the reach at least a little bit. I'm a very small light, but I have the reach at least to educate people, to educate themselves. I don't want to force anyone to have my opinion or share my opinion at all. That's not the target. But I want people to make sure that they themselves get into it and tackle the topics to understand what's going on, and make yourself an opinion. And that's basically what I'm asking for, because that's what people should do. It's not following people and sharing their decisions and opinions is as great as it can be. It's also pretty dangerous. It's leading into a society that is very blind of things, and it becomes very, let's say, easy in terms of aligning with them, popular opinions. I should tell it that way. And if they decide to follow some persons only because I like them or whatever, and they don't double check facts, it is always dangerous. You know, that's also why I want to reinforce people always to double check things, and that's also why I'm always loving these comments when people correct me, because I'm not always correct, for example, and it's fine because I don't claim to be correct all the time. When I claim to be correct, I have checked my facts before. You can definitely rely on that, but you still should always double check in your life whatever you are for. You can trust people, that's not the issue, but at least sometimes make sure that you yourself have an idea of what's going on before you blindly follow some things and some orders and stuff. That's very, very dangerous. I mean, me as a German, I think I'm more than allowed to say so. Anyways, let's tackle these last few minutes and talk about what I've done in this episode. You can see it's been a very tedious work I've done here, and you will see later on in the real-time part how it all turned out. It's looking really good, I can tell you. I was a bit struggling with all the structures to hide them properly away, to make sure that it all looks nice, to make sure that it all looks clean. Like, I think clean is the best description of what I wanted. And then I figured there is this, like every of those 3 habitats has this wooden backlog. And backlog is kind of a pun in itself, because they are gigantic half-cut logs. And in Planet Coaster we had the perfect piece. We had some lumber pieces and some great half logs that had the open side to the outside, but still in Planet Zoo we don't have them. So I created this myself, and there was kind of a little, you know, the screws and stuff that were in there were always at the same height. So I created it in a way that I could build this wall over here, as you can see, as a separate building, like building in modules again, as I explained in my advanced tutorial. You can always do it that way, and then just move them up and down a little bit to create this broken log look. The only issue is I used a non-recallable piece, but after checking all the pieces, that was by far the best piece that offered this kind of wooden texture look to it. It's a bit of a pity because it doesn't create too much depth. I'm still thinking of bringing in some other logs in between there just to get a bit more texture in. I like the texture, but this is one of these textures that only works when you're close up. It's sometimes in Planet Zoo a bit of a pity because some of the textures are insanely well done, but they are so detailed and so great that they only shine when you're very close to the actual texture. But the further you move away, they kind of get washed out and they create this overall very weird looking plane of color, and it's not really likable in terms of how it looks. But yeah, so I got in with a little bit of a roof here, which will be later on, which will be done more properly and more nicely. And then I wanted to get rid of the railings, and then a problem occurred which I haven't seen coming, and I should have checked this, because the reason why I used the railing was to see in the beginning where the actual path was going once I had the colored planes above it. And then I started to cover up the path a little bit. I will do so later on completely. I will have the entire path covered by something else, because otherwise it's not working. I at some point stopped to fill in the gaps of the railing and stuff, and I will do it in the next episode. So next episode will definitely be the last one. I don't want to spend more than 3 episodes of it, and there were 3 hours straight I used now for this time lapse, and I guess with another 2 or 3 hours I'll definitely be done, because the main work has been done now. Now it's all about detailing and getting a lot of plants and stuff in, and then using the house that I already built as a roof. There's one more viewing gallery to the outside I need to do. And I might have to readjust the height of the building, get a little bit of a ceiling in, some pipe works and stuff, and that's it. But yeah, you will see in the real-time part in a second how this all turned out. So enjoy the last seconds of the time-lapse, and we're gonna see each other in the game, in the build. So see you there. So here we go with the real-time part. Actually, I just managed to move the roof into place, which was surprising that it did fit immediately quite well. I have to readjust some of the plans, but that's about it. So yeah, this is how it looks from the inside right now. I have to do some kind of little changes here and there, but I have to say I'm pretty impressed by how this whole thing captured the vibe of this house in general. I just compared it to some of the photos I have, and I have to say it really comes close to how it looks in the Krefelder Zoo from the angle. So I think I nailed that at least. Also with this little bridge over here, I think it's not really too accurate, and I have to do a lot more plant work and stuff to, you know, just to make sure that this little water basement over here makes sense. But yeah, so this is where you have the little view into the gorilla habitat. Funny enough, the gorilla is just walking over there. That's pretty convenient. If you go over here, you have a little glimpse into the chimpanzee habitat, but if you go to the left hand side, there we go, and we just move around, you have the big chimpanzee habitat, and again, it really comes close to how it really looks in that zoo. We have to fill in a lot of plants over here to make it even look more jungle-ish, but in total, it's such a big improvement to what we did in the last episode, more or less out of our minds, or my mind at this point. But this is way more. One thing I have to talk about, which I won't do for this build, but I will do fake doors at least. So the actual zoo, don't worry about the animals. They do have enough space. It seems they only have the indoor space, but the zoo is not kind of cruel or whatever. This is only the indoor space. They have, basically what they have is a big old door over here and also on the left hand side for the chimpanzees, for example, and they have a huge outdoor area over here that they can traverse to. The same goes for the gorillas, which is over, it was over here, but it is now in a totally separated area. I think it's combined by a tunnel and they're moved over. This is also the reason why only 2 of the animals that always live indoors died, and the others survived because they have been in the other ape area. Oh, I didn't know you can come down here. That's great to know. But yeah, then the orangutans, they also have, first of all, they have 2 sides of the habitats. I'm not really sure why they do it. I believe it's some kind of separation between the animals and maybe males and stuff. But they also have a door down here and down here to go in their outdoor area, which then is also a big outdoor area. So also, you know, also in terms of sizes of Planet Zoo, that would be more than enough to make them happy. And in this kind of, you know, area over here, they are not. I really have to look into how many orangutans I need to. I know that you guys gave me all the names, and I did all the namings already with the chimpanzees. I have to do it still with the gorillas, and I have to do it still with the other animals. But yeah, overall, I'm more than happy how it looks. It got so much better, I guess, and I can even take a screenshot of that. It's such a huge improvement over what we did last time. It's just... God, guys, I'm just more than happy that I do this, because it really creates another awareness for me of how this whole thing, yeah, was part of my life before it burned down in the flames. And I cannot say how much I'm still feeling bad for it. But yeah, I have to say, though, that this is... yeah, one of my most emotional projects I ever did in no matter if it's Planet Coaster or Planet Zoo or on YouTube in general. Yeah, whatever. I cannot say too much more. Next episode we will be done with the build, and oh, look at those dudes going down here. But yeah, they would be able to traverse down here. Anyways, so if I have some time in the future, I might want to edit, or you can edit then, because I'm obviously uploading this park then to the workshop. But for the moment, that's it, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Let me know in the comments down below if there's anything you want to say towards the strategy or what's going on in the world we talked about in this episode or whatever. There's no question of the day, because that's a topic here which I don't want to force anyone to say anything. So yeah, have a good time, guys, and see you in the next one. Until then,